Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It is time for SFR. This is Division 1 for the Singapore Grand Prix at round 7. My name is Indigo, and alongside me tonight is Owen Mansell. How are you doing, mate? You alright?
Yeah, all good, mate. It's good to be back once again. Singapore Grand Prix. Yeah, Division 1 once again, 17 people. And Jamie, I'm surprised you're not in this grid today. You did say earlier that you were going to do at least one, and Singapore was going to be the one, but I don't know what made you the decision. I think it was because we was originally going to have a full grid, but we've now gone down to 17. So unless the last 3 guys join halfway through, we don't know. But yeah, excited once again to get this race underway. Of course, qualifying first. Let's get this going.
Yeah, you're right. I was supposed to join that. Shizu Oscar, another Norwegian driver, a PSGL F1 driver, has joined the grid. So, Ola Kongen and Oscar, both in the same esports team, has joined us. So this should be very interesting indeed. So let's see how it all evolves. But welcome to the league, Pitbull Turbo in the McLaren driver. So nice to see him here making his debut here in Singapore. Singapore, for me, it is a very good track, but at the same time, it is quite difficult, especially with the high tire temperatures and low speed corners as well. It is very pivotal to have the setup tweak to the right balance around here in Singapore, especially in this slow speed, mid speed corner as well. I think maximum downforce on this track is required as well to get the best conditions and feel for the car as well, because it is so difficult. And tyre wear can be high, but as we saw with the hard runners, they could take those tyres such a long way in the Grand Prix. Now, Mansell, yesterday you decided to go on the into to hard strategy, medium strategy, but the two-stop, unfortunately, you did work out.
Yeah, I mean, it was a difficult decision to make. Obviously, with the mediums, I was going to do a medium strategy, but I didn't realise how long the mediums actually lasted. They didn't really last that long, so I had to come in a little bit earlier than expected to go on the hard compound tyres to then try and go on the end. But obviously, with that rain at the very last 2 laps were a bit frustrating. But yeah, that's where I basically lost all the positions. But as I was coming out onto the hard compound tyres, I actually missed the pit limiter button in a way, so I was late off the pit limiter, and then because I got distracted from that, where lasers has come out now, I've hit that inside wall and lost a bit of my front wing, so I was losing about a second a lap to obviously Burmeister, who I was close with. So because of that, I just lost everything. I think I was up to like P4. I was up to P2 at one point, but with that little tiny mistake, kind of cost me the rest of the race. And I still finished inside the top 10, so it's a good enough finish. But I think that's just how my season is at the moment. It's not the perfect season at the moment, but I'm trying to put things right.
Yeah, hopefully we can see a return back to the good old days as well. We did win here at the Singapore Grand Prix Division 2 last season, so did Adams finishing P2. So Adams, another great podium for him as we watch a McLaren driver make his way down towards turn 13, when we saw, I think, Felipe Massa and Bruno Senna scrap it out under the Anderson Bridge, where Massa lost control of his car, but still able to make a move. Coming down as well towards turn 14 now. This looks like an easy corner, but at the same time, if you lose focus, if you have breaking stuff, the wall on the outside can catch a lot of people out. It's caught me out a few times, even though it does look like an easy breaking zone. Now coming towards this right left-handed big go, where we saw back in the old days where people scraped the wall, but Pitbull Turbo did hit the wall in the exit, but shouldn't affect him too much. So this first lap time is going to be a 25.9. What a lap time, and I dare say that beats pole yesterday. As we watch then, the Haas cross the line to start flying like Rise of Star goes up into P2 in the Mercedes with a 26.085. Rise of Star has been struggling recently in league racing. He has scored some decent results in the first few races as Jensen returns as he pops his Mercedes up to P3. Jensen's had 3 wins this season, most out of anybody this season, but he is second in the championship due to missing some races. He made his return back here at the Singapore Grand Prix, where in qualifying he really struggled, then in the race of DNF, but hopefully change of fortune this time for Jensen. The man that's second in the championship, the man that's first in the championship is Laser. Where is he right now? I can't seem to find him. There he is in P7. He's about to make his way towards the left-hander of turn number 9 we go. Then we saw the fantastic battle between Ocon and I think it was at the time Alex Albon as well. Now we're making our way towards the old Singapore sling. I do miss this as well because he caught a lot of people out in the past, especially Kimi Raikkonen back in 2008 where he crashed heavily in the wall. Kobayashi also did as well, along I think with one of the Force Indians back restart then, as Fireblaze goes up into P3 with a 26.1. In the background, I just saw Mercedes just slide out of the corner there. I'm not quite sure if that's Rise's star or not, but Laser's headed down towards turn 13 then, and let's see what his second intermediate split is, as we're about to make our way towards turn 16 and 17 right now. 19 corners on this track, 5 kilometers, as a few corners have been removed as well to make it better for racing. But Pitbull Turbo is still in first place with a 25.9. Let's see if Laser's about to beat that as he makes his way towards the final corner. He goes up into P7 in the Aston Martin.
Yeah, decent lap, obviously right in the middle at the moment, 26.5. What was the pole lap yesterday? 26, 25.5, 26.5, something like that? Yes, that's it, 26.5 was the pole lap in yesterday's race. Yeah, fun fact for Division 2 yesterday, I know we're on Division 1, but it was the pole lap from last season. Obviously, I remember this because I actually got pole last season. Was a 27.099 in qualifying last season in Division 2, and that lap was beaten by nearly half a second in Division 2. 26.5 it was the pole lap in Division 2 yesterday. So that's how much the grid has improved in a season, basically in Division 2. So that's basically half a second. So you can tell we've got a lot quicker guys coming in now into the league. Obviously, with these guys as well, they've already beaten that lap of the pole lap of yesterday's race by at least half a second already as well. So already you could tell that the grid between Division 1 and Division 2 is a little bit closer. It's still not probably as close, but it's a lot closer than what we've seen last season, where it's normally 2 seconds, 1 second to 2 seconds quicker normally. But yeah, that's a little bit of a fun fact there of last season's compared to the last season's and this season's result in Division 2.
I'm on board with Hurricane as he makes his way towards the last few corners of this racetrack. Hurricane has won the last 2 Singapore Grand Prix in Season 15 and Season 16. Can he make it a triple here in Season 17? He's about to make his way towards the line, and unfortunately for him, is not really representative. But we know what he's like during qualifying. He uses one set of soft compound tyres, but in all honesty, though, it's quite late to be doing that because he hasn't got a first lap time on the board already. This is his first proper lap, or unrepresentative lap time, must be said, in P13 then. So he's left it quite late to do multiple runs with a set of soft compound tyres. They're very late indeed for our defending champion of SFR. Both Red Bull drivers have been really struggling so far this season. Harry Kane has only picked up 1 podium this season after 11 wins last season. Only 1 podium to add this season after he got it in the Austrian Grand Prix. He should have got there in Imola, where he should have won the race, but unfortunately he didn't appeal his decision there to try and withdraw his 10-second time penalty. So Harry Kane on the back foot this season, but let's see, can he make his way back? We know he can. But how late will it be? Because these drivers are capitalising, such as Laser, Fireblaze and Jensen as well. Fireblaze is second in the championship, but he's scored no podiums. But he's been very consistent, it must be said, has Fireblaze. Regularly scored inside the top 5. He has been thereabouts, but I think that the likes of Kaname, who stopped him twice to get a podium back at the Hungarian Grand Prix, and Bodgem as well. But Fireblaze has been consistent, but so far, Laser leads the championship with 100 points exactly, ahead of Fireblaze by 91. Jensen's third with 90. He's had 3 wins, 3 podiums this season, but he's third in the championship. Rising Star's P4 with 89 points with 2 podiums, as Rising Star has been struggling in the last few races. Noldus is Kaname's P5. Noldus is P6 after a great race in China to finish in P2. Just getting denied the victory from Hazara. Hurricanes in P7 ahead of Racing. Racing has been very consistent too. He has been scoring a lot of top 10 finishers, but hasn't really been there to challenge for the front of the field, although he did lag out of China last week, so hopefully that doesn't happen again. Beremy, we know he has got strong pace from time to time, but he's also struggling like his teammate as he's 9th in championship. Drauger's 10th, Langfall 11th ahead of Pocket Valley Guy. Yeah, Pocket Valley Guy also one of the driver, because when he came into the season last season, he was really quick. He scored a podium in his 3rd race of the season to the Imola Grand Prix. He actually won there too, but he's been struggling as well this season. We've got MDJ 13th, Nico Rassenberg in 14th in the championship, Glock in 15th, Samid, Freecab, Robin, Turbo and F1 Wilner.
Yeah, so I've just seen, obviously one of the reserves are in tonight. I don't know if you already mentioned this, Jamie, to be fair. Electro Dan in the Aston Martin, obviously he is my teammate in Division 2. Wasn't at the race last night, not sure why, but obviously we're both trying to secure a constructors win. We're both reasonably doing well. I'll probably say that Dan's probably doing better than me at the moment. Like I said, with the way my season's going at the moment. But at the moment, we're just trying our best to get the best result possible for each occasion or whatever position we are starting with. But yeah, we're working well at the moment. Me and Electro Dan, I would say. I know we're both close on pace. We're normally close together when we're having a good race. We're normally close together during a race. Yeah, no. Hopefully we can work well for the rest of the season to maybe try and get that constructors. But like I said, it's close with obviously the Williams and RBs at the moment. But enough of that, because I think a lot of these guys are now starting to do basically their second lap of the day, because we've got 7 minutes left, so still time to do a final lap as well.
Yeah, Jensen just popped his Mercedes into P2. He did get held up slightly, but not held up. He got a slight disturbance wake off the back of the LP driver, who was the exit of turn 30 going very slowly, but luckily got out of the way. So Jensen may have lost a bit of time. He was understeering, fighting with control for the car in turn 13, but still P2, and he's only 1800s behind Pitbull Turbo. So Pitbull Turbo has done a fantastic job. His first lap time is still on pole with a 25.9. That's a banker as an Alpine goes deep in the corner. That's Racing, who's off in towards the barriers there, where Charles Leclerc crashed back in 2018 in qualifying, as Hurricanes also had a bit of an excursion too, but a 26.3 for the man in P7. What have you seen?
Pitbull Turbo around the bridge section at the moment, just really losing the back end. I think he actually hit the wall as well, so he's probably lost some time. But like you said, he's currently on that pole position. Nobody's not been able to beat him since the first lap, and he's actually 2 tenths up on that lap, on his lap at the moment. I don't know if it might be just because of lag then that he hit the wall or not, but yeah, we've seen this a couple of times in Division 1 this season. Oh, as I just said that, Fireplace goes quicker in the Ferrari. It was sort of 25.914. I was about to say before, these guys are now getting a lot quicker now. 25.7 in nearly a second. Oh, but Pitbull Turbo goes backwards in that pole position mark at the moment with 25.7. So these guys 8 tenths quicker than Division 2 yesterday, but before all these guys were going to put their lap time in to go pole and get the fastest lap, I was about to say what we have seen a couple of times this season is these guys setting a very good lap time on their first lap, and nobody has been able to get close to that lap time, but obviously that's been beaten now. I think we saw it in Imola with Rising Star when he got that excellent lap time on his first lap, and then nobody was able to beat him. I thought that was about to happen again, but obviously, like I said, we've now seen Robin and Fireblaze were able to complete that lap and beat that lap, and then obviously Pitbull has now just gone back up to that pole position. So Pitbull, Turbo, and Robin really close together at the moment. As Sam gets disqualified. Oh dear. Yeah.
Blocking the pit lane exit, it says, or pit lane, sorry. So he's been disqualified. He'll start down at the back of the field then, unfortunately for Samit, who's had rotten luck this season. Shuzu Oscar has retired in the pit lane then. He was out there, but made a mistake towards turn 13. So it looks like him and Vola Congan will start towards the back of the field, and we might see some fantastic recovery drive from the back of the field as well. As we know, Vola Congan and Oscar are very quick. They're both in the highest division in PSG as well, so expect a lot of them tonight. Vola Congan joined me in the party before you, Owen, and he says he was looking forward to it. So let's see if he does well tonight, does Vola Congan. Elsewhere on the track, I think that the majority of drivers are back in the pit lane then. So the second lap times are done, and so far, 4 people are in the 25, sorry. It's Pitbull Turbo with a fantastic lap time. The gap between him and Robin is 5 thousandths of a second. And Fireblaze with a fantastic lap time to put himself into P3. Fireblaze is looking for a change in fortune this season after his incidents as well in the past few races, as Jensen and Rising Star once again are close together in battle. 4th and 5th. Norda's done a great job again in 6th place ahead of Laser, our championship leader. Kinane, we know who goes strong in Racing 2, is 8th place, and Hurricanes P9 ahead of Racing. Glock's 11th place ahead of Dragon. Remy, Electro Dan, who is the Division 2 driver. Langfell, who is 50th place ahead of Shizu Oscar, Vola Congan, and Samuel as well. So it's going to be very, very quiet now until the last stage of qualifying, but Jensen then has pulled the pin early. So that must mean that he wants to go for a flying lap. Just in case he invalidates his first lap, he's always got that second lap to do so, because he's fueled the car, I presume, for more than one lap to try and make sure that he secures pole, because sometimes people when it comes to the later stages of qualifying, they tend to lose it under pressure, because the nerves kick in as well. You want to try and extract the best performance, try and utilize every single part of the racetrack by overdoing it a bit as well. That's what caused to invalidations, because you're trying your best to try and put yourself up the order. It's like me. I always do this tactic where I come out a little bit early in comparison to other people. Not because I want free air, but it is ideal. But at the same time, if I do make a mistake on the first lap, I've always got the second lap to do so and try and go for it again.
See, I'm kind of the same. I like to go out early, depending on track related things. But a track like this, I normally go out early just to get free air. Really, that's the only benefit, I suppose. I'm always putting my fuel all the way down. I mean, my final laps this season has been dreadful. I'm always spinning or invalidating or whatever. It's been absolutely dreadful for me at the moment. But my second lap in qualifying yesterday was my best lap of the day, and I was actually quite proud of that, because I actually beat my lap from last season. So only just though, but I think I could have probably improved by another 2/10 or something. But unfortunately, that's, like I said, that's my season at the moment. But like we're saying at the moment, Jensen is currently on a lap. Ferrari is getting out of the way, and he's actually nearly about a tenth down on his lap time at the moment. So hopefully he can get some improvement done. As also Laser has just started his lap as well.
Jensen about wide out of turn 7, almost connects with the wall, but he does connect with the wall at the outside of turn 9. So fortunately for Jensen, it has been a bit of a scuffy lap time as well. He was down in the first sector, like you said, as he flicks his way through in fourth gear, just lifted on the throttle there, no need for braking. Now we're coming towards the Anderson Bridge, arrive and drive at the same time. Out of the corner we go, just trying to experiment with the throttle, trying to get the traction down, the foot to the floor as we head towards turn 14, braking just before the 100-meter bump, but unfortunately he is a tenth down in that little sector. So will he back off or continue? Because he's got the time to back off, but he's still going for it then. So can he believe he can find more time in the last 4 corners, these slow speed corners? We can find a lot of time indeed as we make our way now towards turn 16 and turn 17. Use the curves very nicely. There is a kick salver in the way. He won't get out of the way, but Jensen might pick up a bit of a toe towards the line. Here he is though. Jensen across the line now. He stays in at P4 then, so not an improvement for him as we've got more people. I'm going to go aboard with Pitbull Turbo as he makes his way down towards turn number 7 then. So first sector a 10th down, so unfortunately for him that lap time will not be good enough as Fireblade want to go aboard with him. Coming through turn 2 and turn 3 then, follows in one after another. You're going to have quick reaction times as well. Be precise with the curves. As we head towards turn 5 then, use the outside curve, flick the car in, avoid the wall on the outside. He might get a bit of a toe from a Fireblade, from Mercedes in front of him, which he does do. So hopefully Mercedes gets out of the way, which he does. He's going to be a 25.8 as he makes his way down towards turn 7. Misses the apex, but still a bit loose on the rear end as he goes down towards turn 8. Another lock up on the inside, clips the apex, back of the throttle again. The back of the car continuously complaining as we make our way out of turn 9. Kaname has gone into P3, a very good lap time for the Puerto Rican as we make our way towards the old Singapore sling. Had to hesitate just a bit to just try and back out the steering there, because if he turned in that time, he would have crashed into the wall. So we had to back out of it a bit there as we head towards the bridge then in turn 13. Once again, the back of the car is complaining, so no rear stability on that Ferrari at all. As we make our way down towards turn 14, he's currently 800s down in that little sector as he goes a bit wide. The car just understeering and also has wheel spin on the exit. Rising Star goes up into P3 in the Mercedes. Decent qualifier for him as Fireblades heads towards turn 16 and turn 17. And once again, used a lot of curb, but once again, the back of the car just complaining, and he won't improve, unfortunately, so he'll stay in P5. Elsewhere on the track, we've got Laser on a fly. I don't think Jensen is, but Laser, unfortunately, has backed off. He has invalidated lap time, but Harry Kane is 4/10 up in the middle sector. Can Harry Kane produce some magic around here in Singapore as he scrapes the wall on the exit, making her way towards the final 2 corners? He goes flat out. Here comes Kane towards the line. It's going to be P4. Harry Kane stars at P4. What a better lap time, and fantastic for him as well, because he does struggle in qualifying, but remember, his race pace is immaculate.
Yeah, we've seen Harry Kane struggle quite a lot of the times in qualifying this season. But like you said, he's a lot stronger in the race. So yeah, hopefully he can do well. Once again, obviously he's in a better position than P4.
So there is the classification. It's fantastic, by the way, for Pitbull Turbo. I don't think nobody took Paul away from it at all. Robin, the Dutchman in P2 in the RB. Rising Star goes to P3. Hurricane P4 Kaname, Fireblaze, Racing, Jensen, Laser, Nordus, Dragon, Glock, Biremi, Electro Dan, Langford, Oscar, Volakongan, and Sammy down in 18th place and last. But Pitbull Turbo, the man that controlled his qualifying beautifully, took pole by 5,000 per second there. What a statement to make, especially on your debut here as well. And this is great for McLaren as well, because they're currently down in P7 in the championship. So I think that Langford will be happy with that one. And it is a dry race, thankfully, but you never know if weather could impact this race.
Yeah, obviously, like you said, it's a good statement from Pitbull. Obviously, his first race in SFR. Obviously, he was up there at the beginning of the session. He was on pole. Then he did improve. Obviously, Robin and was it Rising Star? I think it was that went ahead of him. But then Pitbull then made a response by going back up to that pole position mark and securing that pole position, of course. But yeah, on Harry Kane, obviously he's had a difficult season. He's not had the season that he probably wanted so far. Obviously, we know we've had a lot of guys that's joined Division 1 throughout this season, and obviously throughout the most of last season. But yeah, obviously with Harry Kane, he knows how to think as well as driving, and it's a good skill to have, to not only to use your head, but also trying to keep your concentration and obviously keeping the car on track and obviously going quick. He knows when to make the moves at the right time. He knows when to stay behind at the right time. Obviously, with some tracks, it's not so difficult around here, but with some tracks, with the DRS, it is that powerful that it is difficult to pull that 1 second gap. But obviously, with a track like Singapore, because there's not many DRS zones, there's only real one possible overtaken spot, and that's down, I can't remember what that turn number 6, something like that. That's probably the main overtaking spot. Yes, there is turn 1 as well, but the DRS straight isn't as long. So yeah, this is like for this season, this is like our Monaco, because it's probably the hardest track to overtake on this season. Obviously, we haven't got Monaco this season, thankfully for some people. But yeah, this is our Monaco of this season. So it should be not as tactical as we normally see in Division 1 mainly. But what did we see last week? Yeah, with Nordus and Hazara. Nordus decided to stay behind Hazara for like the last 10 laps of the race and try and get the overtake done on the final lap. Just didn't work out for him. Hazara got him on the final corner to take that first position spot, and what a win that would have been for Nordus. That win will come for Nordus at some point, but he is starting further down, I think at P9, P10. He's with Laser, but again, everyone's race pace is normally quicker than your qualifying pace. That's what you normally see in this year's game.
Indeed, then. So Singapore Grand Prix introduced back in 2008, and what a history as well. What history around the circuit, because back in 2008, his first night race not only was the first ever night race in Formula One, but there's a lot of controversy as well, because Nelson Piquet Jr. crashed out on purpose. At the time, we didn't know, but it was suspicious because Fernando Alonso pitted a lap before, then Nelson Piquet pitted a lap. Nelson Piquet crashed a lap later, and it caused the crash gate. But obviously, we didn't know. We thought Piquet just lost the car and crashed. It benefited Alonso. Nico Rosberg, I think, had to sustain a penalty, because back then, when a safety car came out, you weren't really allowed to pit for fuel until a few hours later. But Rosberg had to pit desperately, otherwise he could have won that Singapore Grand Prix. And Massa as well, of course, could have won that Singapore Grand Prix, because I think Ferrari messed up in the pit lane with the fuel hose, and that what cost Massa the race indeed. And Hamilton also had struggles there too. It was, I think, Fernando Alonso and Nico Rosberg, and I think a BMW Sauber, I think, on that day as well. But Robert Kubica and Nick Heidfeld on the podium too. But yeah, 1 year later, when we arrived in Singapore, Nelson Piquet got sacked for being just absolutely terrible, and Romain Grosjean came to replace him. Then in Hungary, that's when Nelson Piquet decided to snitch on the team, and that's when Crashgate happened as well. So yeah, a lot of history circulating on this circuit as well. We've had some fantastic battles. Sebastian Vettel, the four-time world champion, has had the most wins around the track. His last win was here in Singapore in the Ferrari. What a race that was as well between him and Charles Leclerc. But it has been a Ferrari. That was 5 years ago, 4, 5, 6 years ago. I can't believe that. I remember that win as well because I was very, very disappointed as a Sebastian Vettel fan in Canada when he got his race taken away from him, race win taken away from him. And here in Singapore, I was so delighted when he won because it looked like Sebastian Vettel wasn't going to win a race this season because the Mercedes was better and also Ferrari was terrible as well. The Ferrari wasn't so bad, but its engine was so powerful as well. It deemed illegal, and the Mercedes took advantage as well. But yeah, Sebastian Vettel, his last win here in Singapore, his last podium was at the Baku Grand Prix in 2021. I don't think Sebastian Vettel will make his return back to Formula 1, but I really hope he does because he's a legend of Formula 1, of course. I think he's missed by a lot of people and a popular driver in the community of F1.
Yeah, like you said, I think that was his only win of the season, and like you said, it was an illegal engine to end off with Ferrari, and that's why they mainly struggled in 2020 and 2021 because of that engine was just not great for them at all. Never seen a Ferrari struggle that big before. Obviously, Ferrari always up there. Obviously, they're up there once again, but it's very rare to see a Ferrari just in the back of the midfield struggling like McLaren did back in about 10 years ago. But here we go then. Race is about to get underway.
It is time for the race here in Singapore. Look above you. There are the lights. And we're underway for round 7 here in Singapore. It is foot to the floor, and Pitbull Turbo gets an amazing start ahead of Robin down before turn 1 we go. With Harry Kane and Kaname are side by side going towards turn 3. Harry Kane just having the inside line, but looks like Kaname gets better exit on those medium compound tyres. Of course, we haven't talked about the strategy just yet in this race. There's a few people on the hard compound tyres, others on the mediums, and the front wing is missing. That may be Lourdes who's lost and then play as well. He's dropping backwards as well, is Lourdes. So horrendous first start there for the Williams driver who did really well last season at the Singapore Grand Prix. He's outside the top 10. Rising Star goes off the track in turn 7, just outbreak himself, so be very careful because he might be awarded already in this Grand Prix, as it can be very brutal with penalties as well. But so far clean, but Samin's retired. Samin has retired and a safety car has appeared.
That is our first safety car of the season, and it happens on the first lap. I'm not 100% sure what happened to Samin. He was right at the back of the field, so I'm guessing he just outbroke himself and he's gone straight into the wall, and obviously he's lost the tyre. Simple as that. That's what I suspect because he was right at the back of the field. Yeah, that's just unfortunate. But yeah, very early safety car. I think it's probably the first safety car we've seen all season. Well, it is the first safety car we've seen all season in this division. I'm not sure if it's the first safety car we've seen all season across all 4 divisions or not. I know we've had virtual safety cars. We had a virtual safety car in yesterday's race as well, but not a full course safety car. And obviously, like I said, this is the Monaco of the season. So yeah, safety car. If we were going to get a safety car out of any tracks this season, and it would have been this track, and that's exactly what we've seen already earlier on, as a couple of guys already going to get rid of those medium compound tyres. 4 guys getting rid of the medium compound tyres, and Noldes has got a 10-second penalty for a severe collision with Laser. So I'm guessing they made contact coming into the front, into the pit lane, and yeah, they've gone straight onto the hard compound tyres. Obviously Noldes, that's really saved him with that front wing. So maybe if they have gone for a harder choice of tyre allocation, they could potentially do a hard compound tyres, or even they could probably do what a lot of people did then. Well, who was it? Adams and Veloce did a hard, basically a hard race till the end. So by the looks of that, they may have looked at that in yesterday's race and thought of it as being, okay, these hard compound tyres can do the whole race. My mentality at my race, I didn't think hard compound tyres could last that long, but obviously Adams and Veloce was able to prove us wrong and take the hard compound tyres all the way to the end. So by the looks of it, it is possible to do the whole race on these hard compound tyres.
Yes, indeed, then. So, people from P14 downwards, Robin, who was in second place at the time, has gave up track position. Track position is key, but we know the pit lane losses huge around here, and those
Massive.
guys are going to go towards the end on the hardcore power tyres. I presume so, because there's no point probably doing maybe hard to medium, but we'll never know. But I think the tyres could definitely go towards the end. But Noldus in a bit of a predicament in P17 because he pitted for the hardcore power tyres, but the downfall is he's still got a 10-second penalty, so he's got to pit next lap. And I don't know if he's got another set of hardcore power tyres in his allocation to go on those and get rid of his 10-second penalty. If he doesn't, then it could be a set of medium core power tyres.
He might be able to appeal it. I'm not 100% sure on that. Obviously, I don't actually know. I think Energy Dan is the steward of this division. So if he keeps that 10-second penalty to the end of the race, he might be able to appeal that. We will have to find out. Obviously, that's up to the stewards, of course. So Noldus, he could probably go to the end without pitting, but he's actually done that straight away and gone straight into the pits. What's he going on to? Let's have a look. He's in, obviously, Williams right at the end. And what tyres is that? So he's serving the 10-second now. It's medium compound tyres he's going to go on to. So he's serving the 10-second now and going on to medium compound tyres. So maybe again he's going to try and come in next lap and put the hard compound tyres straight back on, or trying to do a medium strategy. Obviously, I don't think it doesn't work well. It didn't work well for me yesterday anyway, but we'll soon find out what Noldus does and doesn't in the next lap. Obviously, I think he will just have enough time to do maybe another pit stop to go back onto the hard compound tyres, but obviously he's done that just to get rid of that 10-second penalty.
Right, so Samid has sent a clip in the chat. I'm watching it right now. Oh, the car just didn't turn at all. He was just reluctant to turn.
Yeah.
It looked like he was turning, then he just stopped and just went straight to the wall. Now, I do admit it has happened to me before. It happened to me in Saudi Arabia where I tried under a safety car too. I was running in the high points pain positions, and all of a sudden the controller, I had no feeling for the controller, and I just hit the wall in turn 2, had no steering at all, and that ruined my race under a safety car as well, putting me out of a potential win. So it is weird. Maybe the controller was broken and maybe you have a bit of a stick drift or whatever, but yeah, it's a shame to retire like that on the track. So we've seen how Samid's retired, and unfortunately he is out of the Grand Prix then as Noldus rejoins the 17th place. Now, was that his strategy originally to go on the medium compound tyres? No, it wasn't, because he pitted for a brand new wing, so he had to pit regardless. But he can't pit now, so he has to suffer on those medium compound tyres. We know the medium compound tyres degrade very quickly as well. Even that two-stop strategy, the medium compound tyres didn't really benefit those guys towards the end. So safety car is coming in towards the end of the lap. We presume racing once again. Turbo will lead them away as Fireblaze gets caught napping there, and he might have Jensen just crawling all over the back of him as we head down towards turn 1 we go. Any moves being made, a few people moving left and right to weave their tyres. Oscar gets ahead of Electro Dan in towards turn 1 he goes. A nice move of the inside to put himself into P10 then. So let's see how the strategy benefits those guys as well. Does it benefit them? It will later on when these guys get out of the way to pit onto the hard or medium compound tyres, depending what tyre they're on now. But we'll see. That's a very aggressive strategy. We saw this back in Brazil. Harry Kane pitted under a safety car on lap number 3 or 4. He took the hard compound tyres all the way to the end as Oscar once again fighting with Beremi, this time down the inside towards turn 7. Look at the Sauber of Glock and Draugen getting all scurrily out of the exit there as they lost traction, and now they're fighting once again side by side with the Haas and the Sauber, both on different tyre compounds. Glock is into P6. Nice move on the inside, but they lost the DRS. Talk about losing DRS. Rising Star is 1.5 seconds away from Pitbull. Pitbull is giving it everything tonight, if you know what I mean.
I just realised what you just said there. He sure is giving everything tonight, and 1.5 seconds ahead already of Rising Star. Obviously, they're both on medium compound tyres as well, so both of these drivers will be trying to pull away as much as they can before the DRS is enabled. They shouldn't have a problem, but I was like, let me know these medium compound tyres will eventually fall off the cliff, and then they will be starting to suffer big time. But that won't happen until about another 7-ish laps. As that's when they're probably going to start to suffer. But Harry Kane and Fireblaze, just got to make sure they sustain the DRS. Then if they do, that should help them later on before they obviously come in and pit. But Rising Star is actually struggling to catch up to Pitbull. So Pitbull is just on another level. I've never seen him race before. I don't know if you have, Jamie. You do commentate in quite a lot of the leagues, but at the moment he is showing that he's a very quick driver.
Indeed, I haven't commentated over him in the past. I don't know, this is the first time I've seen him. Look at Kaneem around the outside, just scraping against the wall of Langfeld. That's a nice move there in towards turn 7. Langfeld is struggling there. He's got Noldus right behind. The two Norwegians now almost wheel to wheel, but Noldus thinks wise of it because he can crash here as well if you try and go down the inside. But Pitbull, the gap is 2.2 seconds already. So Rising Star, this has been his biggest kryptonite this season, where he's struggled to stay in DRS range of somebody. Even when he's been in DRS range of somebody before, further down the field, he's not able to keep up with the train. He has broken the train quite a lot as well, so he is 2.2 seconds behind, unable to keep up with Pitbull on the same age of medium compound tyres. He's got Hurricane and Fireblades right behind. Volokongan puts himself into P7 ahead of Dragon there, so Volokongan and Oscar are making moves, really good moves as well, as Volokongan now puts himself into 7th place, looking for his second win of the season after he did it in Belgium. Now look at the Williams of Oscar right behind with the DRS open. Here comes Oscar down towards turn 1. Let's see, can he make it stick on the kickstart? But he will go down the inside, force a move. There's enough space left on the outside too for Dragon there not to make contact, as Oscar is securely through, puts himself into P8 there. So Volokongan and Oscar are following each other through. The three Shazoo drivers are 6th, 7th and 8th as well. Here comes Harry Kane, puts himself into P2 now ahead of Rising Star. Now he's got the better tyres than the hardcore power tyres. Can he catch up towards Pitbull and get the gap down under a second? Robin now overtakes Electro Dan, puts himself into 11th place there ahead of the Aston Martin driver. Robin, of course, pitted under the first safety car, hence why he's dropped all the way down to 11th place. I presume he's going to go all the way to the end on those hardcore power tyres. Let's hope it works for him, but so far he's able to keep up with the guys ahead as well, trying to stay in the DRS range. Look at this, down the inside goes Kaneem as well. Kaneem now puts himself into P12 on the hardcore power tyres there. So these guys who pitted first under the safety car are trying to make their way through, hoping that they don't lose too much time there before these guys go over to a brand new set of hards or mediums as well. So interesting strategy here. We've got a strategy play game. Which strategy is the best out of this lot, do you think?
At the moment, I have to go all hard compound tyres. The guys, obviously Robin and Kaneem and obviously Laser, even Langfell and Racing, these guys that are on the hard compound tyres right at the moment, obviously when they pitted in the safety car, I've got to be all on their side, just because of what I saw in yesterday's race and how much time you lose in the pit lane. It is 37 miles per hour, one of the slowest pit lanes in this season's calendar. You lose about 35-ish seconds in the pit lane. That's a lot of time if you think about it. So yeah, at the moment I'm all with Kaneem, Robin and Laser to go all the way to the end and be able to pull a decent gap to potentially get a podium.
Glock has lost 2 places. He was squirming in the first sector like crazy, just locking up the rear brakes, losing traction, and now it's been relinquished into P7. Jensen and Volokongan are through on their hardcore power tyres up into P5 and P6. Great drive so far from Jensen and Volokongan, despite struggling in qualifying. It must be said for Jensen, as we know Volokongan started down in P17 as well, as they make their way through this little set to be go just under the Anderson Bridge. Another snap of oversteer there for Jensen as well, as he struggles to fight with the car as we head towards turn 13. Volokongan is right behind. We know Jensen, I think, is the manager of Shazoo, so you know that he's got a big influence as well in esports. He's probably telling Volokongan not to go past him, or just work together to try and make our way up the order. But so far, Harry Kane, the gap is 2.1 seconds, so not gained massively so far, but he will gain on the guy ahead, which is Pitbull, because his medium compound tyres will start to drop away surely as well in the next few laps. We know the medium compound tyres do not like the circuit whatsoever. They degrade massively as well, and even on a 2-slot strategy from hard, medium, didn't really work either for some guys, as Glock has been overtaken by Oscar, as Oscar now puts himself into P7, as Glock continues to fall back in his medium compound tyres.
Rising Star is really struggling at the moment. He's just basically drift around turn number 3, so already he's struggling on these medium compound tyres, and somehow he's still in DRS of Harry Kane, which is obviously going to help him defend against Fireblaze. But I'm sure Fireblaze has seen his recent mistakes. Fireblaze knows he's starting to lose time towards Harry Kane, so what he's going to do is go down the inside of Rising Star just like that, gets that move done, now up to P3, and now try and pull that gap back down to 1 second to get back into that DRS of Harry Kane.
Yeah, very important move there for Fireblaze to overtake Rising Star immediately, otherwise he'll lose the DRS towards Harry Kane. But they went side by side. He had to take a acute angle going down towards turn 7. So that means he lost a bit of time. Didn't get the exit he wanted, and that's why he lost the DRS towards Harry Kane. The gap is 1.2, but Harry Kane is slowly but surely now starting to gain, as you expect on those hard compound tyres on Pitbull Turbo. Turbo has done a mega job so far in this Grand Prix, breaking the DRS when the safety car came in by about over 2 seconds as well, as we did see Rising Star struggle on the first stint on the medium compound tyres. Electro Dan has been overtaken by Racing, as Racing puts himself into P15 now as well. But the scenario is now, so where is Robin? Robin, who pitted first, is down in 11th place. The problem is for Robin, though, he has to encounter this traffic. He may not get through this traffic because they all have DRS, because the tyre difference is only 1 lap. But remember as well, the guys ahead of him have to pit, but Robin almost lost at the corner, in the final corner. They're back in the car, just complaining as he makes his way down towards turn 1. So Robin has got a lot of traffic to get through, but let's see how he does there. Will he get through this traffic, or will he just stay behind and wait for the guys to pit? But so far, crucial for him, he is the leader of the people that pitted. So when these guys get out of the way, he will move up into first place. And this is going to be about as well, the people who haven't pitted chasing down the people who pitted under the first safety car. Which strategy is going to be better? We'll see. But crucially, Robin is in this DRS train. He goes off the track though, in towards turn 7, so be very careful on braking 2.
Robin at the moment is in a perfect position. Obviously, he probably won't really mind that he's in this DRS train. He might be losing a little bit of time towards obviously Pitbull, and as Langfell's gone off there, Pitbull, Harry Kane and Fireblaze, and those what at the moment in obviously top 5, top 4. Obviously they're going to come back later on. Obviously, like I said, you're going to be losing about 35 seconds at the moment. It's currently the leader, 9.2 seconds between Robin and Pitbull. So it's going to be about 20-ish seconds when all these guys come into the pits, between obviously Pitbull and Robin. So Robin's going to have to pull about got to somehow pull in a 20-second gap within 15-ish laps. Obviously that gap might go up a little bit more. Obviously, like I said, they're in the DRS train at the moment, so that gap might go up to about 12-ish seconds, depending on how much these guys battle each other. But that's still a lot of time that Pitbull is going to have to gain on Robin to get that win. And obviously you've got to look at Kaname and Laser as well, because they're going to go long, and also Racing as well. I was going to say Langfell, but unfortunately he has had a little bit of a mistake, so unfortunately he will be now out of that position.
I do think the people that pitted on the first safety car do have the sweet spot to win this Grand Prix and win the podium, but at the same time though, we know the chances for a safety car is high. Sometimes a safety car can swing in your favour, but it comes in about league racing, comes about as roundabouts. You go different ways, completely different ways as well. And talk about yellow flags and potential safety cars, Electro Dan has gone for the same spin, the same place where Langfell dropped it as well. So the guys like Robin, Kaname, Nordis and all them, they'll be hoping that no safety car comes out at all to interrupt their race, because if it does, it completely blows the strategy out of proportion, as Baby gets ahead of Glock in towards turn 13. They both went a bit deep, but Glock is really started to suffer on these really compound tyres. And also Harry Kane has caught up the turbo, and Robin goes up into P2. The leader locks up and almost cuts the corner, but thankfully he did. We did see him go off the track once, but maybe Peter per warning as well in the first time. But second time, just got away with it. So Glock let him go very easily there, but Robin just broke himself there. Anticipated that Glock may fall back in the corner, but Robin now is up into P10. And once again, oh no, Robin has picked himself up a 3-second time penalty, and now he's starting to lose his temper because he's going out wide again. And here comes Kaname up the inside into another place. Maybe Kaname could be in the sweet spot to win this Grand Prix as well if a safety car does come out. Rising Star is back out of Fireblaze, up into P3 in turn 7.
Yeah, don't forget about Laser as well. He's still also in this battle with obviously Kaname and Robin. So this potentially could be the podium towards the end of this Grand Prix. Robin, Kaname, Laser. Obviously all these three guys, and even Race. Don't forget about Racing. Racing's still there. I know he's out of the DRS at the moment, but he is still there. He is still in this battle for the podium potentially. Obviously, we're basically stuck. We've got 2 battles for the lead essentially, because we won't really know the true pace of Pitbull and Harry Kane and Rising Star when they pit, and it all depends if Robin and Kaname and Laser, if they're going to pit again. So at the moment it's a bit hit and miss who's actually going to be winning this Grand Prix. We don't know for sure, but yeah, like we've seen at the moment, Harry Kane is now pulled out in that gap. I've just noticed this, to be fair. Harry Kane's now pulled in that gap to Pitbull, so Pitbull now is definitely starting to struggle now in these medium compound tyres.
And Rising Stars in the pit lane. Fireblades is side by side with Volokongan, and also Oscar goes through. So Fireblades has been demoted down into P5 because, he almost hit the back of him as well. But he did really struggle out of turn 16 and 17, did Fireblades, because I think he must have made a mistake, and that's why Volokongan got through, and Oscar got through too. Rising Star did overtake him. He's in the pit lane right now to go on the hard compound tyres to take towards the end of the Grand Prix. Let's see where he ends up, as Kaname is now essentially in the lead of the Grand Prix in P9, as Harry Kane now takes the actual lead but goes a bit wide out of turn 7 ahead of Pitbull. Expected as well, because Pitbull's tyres are starting to reach the end of the cliff as well. Their peak performance will be gone, and we should expect him to pit very soon in the Grand Prix as well. But so far, advantage Kaname in P9. He is gaining on the leaders, of course. The gap is 8.7 seconds towards the leaders. So when these guys pit, the guys who are going to pit on the bonus set of mediums or hards, the people that didn't pit during the first safety car, have got loads and loads of times to make up as well. So this is going to be a very interesting race. The people that did pit will have a lot of catching up to do, and let's see can they do it or not. But so far, advantage Kaname. The only thing that could go wrong, like I said, is a safety car, and the chance of that around Singapore is very high as well. 100% record of a safety car came out every single year since 2008, except 2024 last year, when no safety cars came out at all, because reliability, people weren't really crashing as much as well. Even Logan Sargent was the man that caused the safety car in 2023, but Pitbull pitted as well. Well, Pitbull, has pitted.
Yeah, so he finally comes into that pit lane to get rid of that medium compound tyres. The strategy screen does a default setup of where you actually come in on lap 15, but you really are going to struggle to go to lap 15 on medium compound tyres. But Robin R gets a 6-second penalty now, so he's now on 6 seconds, and I think he's the only one with penalties as well. So you can get penalties around here. It is very possible. Look, you can tell by Robin's 6-second penalty, but we've got Kaname and Bear Remy going side by side. Kaname basically makes it nice and easy and gets past Bear Remy. So Kaname is now starting to pull a gap. As Robin's actually pulled over to let Nordis and Laser go on. So does that mean he's fed up? He's slowing right down. I think that's his race over. I think Robin's race is over.
He reminds me a bit like... He reminds me about Nico Rosberg, because they're both teammates in the RB. Nico, unfortunately, is not here tonight. And Robin, he just overdrove the car, just pushing way too hard. He needs to think about the long game as well, because he was driving the car so just unnecessarily in the high-speed corners. We were going off the track constantly as well, just like Nico in Hungary, where he was in a really good place, but for some reason just not thinking about the long-term game, because it was all in his hands as well. But just going off the track all the time, he was just losing his patience, and I think Robin might come into the pits to retire his car. Kaname, though, is the effective leader, the net leader of this Grand Prix in P7, but the top 6 are going for the longest stint on the hard compound tyres. The top 6 are hoping for a safety car in the latter stages, not now because it's a bit too early to pit on the medium compound tyres, so they'll be hoping for a safety car. But so far, it's all in Kaname's hands. Looking for his first win of the season is the Puerto Rican. Fantastic strategy from him, and he also picked up 2 podiums back in Belgium and at the Hungarian Grand Prix. He was very disappointed in Hungary because he felt like, as Volokongan overtakes Oscar for P2, he felt like he could have won the Hungarian Grand Prix, but he stayed out way too late and therefore could not catch the guys ahead as he was fighting with Fireblades. But so far, all in his hands. Let's see if it stays that way, because this race could change any moment. That's the thing about Formula 1. You never know which direction it will go in. The treachery of the race completely swings about and roundabouts. That's what we love about F1, because it's just unpredictable sometimes as well.
Yeah, so I've just had a quick look, and the gap between Harry Kane and Kaname has actually gone down. It was originally about 9.3 seconds. I know that Pitbull was in the lead at that point. We've got a Ferrari that's ghosted, that's Fireblades. I don't know if he's made a slight error, but the gap has gone down to 7 seconds now between Harry Kane and Kaname. So obviously it's only about a lap difference. I mean, it's going to make a little bit of a difference with that one lap. but yeah, they've got some work to do. Pitbull, Harry Kane, even Volakongan and Oscar. They are very quick drivers. We know that. They have got some work to do to somehow make a 30-second. Well, pull in a 30-second gap. That's going to be around about 30 seconds anyway, to potentially, well, just try and get a podium. Maybe, I think it might be the battle for P3 when all these guys pit. I think Name and Laser will definitely go to the end. Again, don't forget about Racing still there. Racing, it might be on that P3. Noldus is unfortunately just kind of he is going to unfortunately have to stop again because those medium tyres would just not last. So Racing, Laser and Kane might be the podium to end this race, but Pitbull, Harry Kane, Volakonga and Oscar, all those guys are going to have a lot of work to do to try and finish on the podium.
Sometimes it's like a control because Kname's hards won't make it. I think they will, Samit. They will make it, but they'll be hanging off the cliff towards the end of the Grand Prix. Trust me, we've seen some phenomenal things. Back in Brazil, yeah, we did. Back in Brazil as well, Harry Kane did almost a whole race on the hard compound tyres because he picked up a 10-second penalty in the early stint, like lap 1 or 2 for some reason. Then he had to do a whole race on the hard compound tyres, and he did it. He took them all the way to the end. But sometimes on a track like this, you think, oh, Singapore, high degradation, high temperatures as well. The hards are going to make it. But in this game, it's just not really realistic. Here comes Kaname, side by side with Dragon, but this is a risky move. Does he want to make this move? He's going to risk it, or he will. Side by side in the slow speed corner. It's a Dragon gets a better exit. Kaname is not able to make the move as he stays in P7 there, but he taps the back of Dragon. Now the DRS is enabled. He puts himself into P6 then, a few corners too late, as he puts himself now in clean air and chasing after Fireblaze as well in the Ferrari. This could bring Beremy closer and Laser closer as well. But crucially as well, Kaname has got 2 cars in between himself and Laser, so at least he's got a few cars to try for Laser to try and overtake and have a good chance of winning the Grand Prix as well. As Oscar and Volakongan are swapping places, he goes up into P2, but unfortunately for these two, or shall I say the half runners, the top 5, their strategy is not going to work unless a safety car appears in the next 3 or 4 laps. They're hoping that a safety car will come out to try and bring something back in this Grand Prix, but that safety car, the first one, you don't really expect many people to pit under a first safety car on lap 1, but it can be beneficial, and look what it's done in this race, completely turned things around. Even like Pitbull, who might not end up on the podium, he might do in P3, but it's going to be very difficult as well to try and catch back up.
Yeah, I was about to mention as well, I like what Kanane did on Dragon. Basically what he did is battle with Dragon to get the DRS off from Fireblaze, to then obviously have a chance for Kanane to obviously get Dragon down the DRS without obviously Dragon with having obviously Dragon without the DRS. So that's what Kanane tried to do, and it really did work out by obviously battling with Dragon throughout that chicane. Made him drop over a second. Obviously then Dragon didn't get the DRS because of that, and then obviously Kanane was then able to make an easy overtake on Dragon to obviously get that overtake done. Obviously it would have been a bit more difficult if Dragon had the DRS, but I like his style of play. Sometimes you got to do that. You got to force a battle to get your opponent out of DRS for you to have a better chance to overtake on that DRS straight, and that's what Kanane's done. I think people are now starting to figure out this game a little bit by doing that, by battling people hard to get the DRS out of their reach, and then obviously then they're making it an easier overtake for them down a DRS straight. Obviously, like I said, with the DRS so powerful around on this game, so I think you have to do that just to have a chance to overtake.
At the same time, on the counterpoint of that one is that if you do that, you've got to make sure you stay. Oh no! Beremy's out of the Grand Prix! It's a safety car! A safety car has been deployed, and Harry Kane has just pitted. He will not be happy. There he is, just stranded on the track, crashed. Harry Kane, who's just pitted, will not be happy with his own teammate, as Volakongan, Jensen, Fireblaze, Oscar have all been benefited. Kaname, who looked like he was on his way to win the Grand Prix, now has to do a lot of work because he will pit on the medium compound tyres. They should make it, but there might be a bit of a stretch. But what a shame. This is his true position now. P5 is his true pace now. He's got to do a lot of work if he wants to win the Grand Prix. It was all coming to him, but now Volokongan, Oscar, Jensen, Shizou, the top three of Shizou have been benefited, and Pitbull too down in P9. So like I talked about,
I think he, Pitbull actually will take that that position, but he will not have the tyre advantage. As you can see, everyone has now gone on those medium compound tyres, so that's hurt Pitbull.
I'm running to the toilet, by the way. I need it desperately.
Yeah, no worries. So, yeah, I was on board with Bear Remy when he DNF'd and basically came out under the bridge, and you got that little right-hander before you go into the left hairpin. He's just hit that wall on the right hand, and obviously tyres then exploded, and he's DNF'd. He's going to be so frustrated on that. He's just basically put too much turning into the corner, and he's hit the wall, and unfortunately he is out of this Grand Prix. He's going to be very frustrated with that, and obviously Kaname, Laser, Racing, these guys are also going to, well, basically everyone's going to be frustrated with this safety car. This probably came out at the wrong point for them. Maybe, obviously, with Harry Kane as well. Obviously, he pitted a lap before with that, but this has really helped the likes of Oscar and Volokongan. We know Volokongan's pace. He is very quick. He is probably... What we've been saying with me and Jamie is that we would love to see Volokongan versus Hazara. We said this yesterday with both of these guys' pace at the moment is just incredible. As Oscar as well. Oscar, I think Jamie knows more about him than I do, but his pace seems very, very, very strong as well. Obviously, these guys are with Shizou. I remember Shizou guys back in the day. We did have quite a lot, and it's nice to see the Shizou coming back into the league again. Hello.
I also had a thought in my head whilst I was going to the toilet. I laughed about it too. So I said to myself, or thought about it to myself, is that if Bear Remy did it one lap later, or earlier, sorry, then Harry Kane would have been in second place, or effective leader in second place, hunted down Pitbull, and it could bring out the crash gate, but he did it one lap later in P4.
Yeah, remember, it was 2008, wasn't it, with Renault? When they decided to purposely crash out, and then didn't they get a season ban or something? They got a season ban in 2009, didn't they, or something?
No. They lost their main sponsors, Kingfisher. They were still able to continue, but under different management, because Flavio Briatore and Pat Simmons at the time, he had a race ban, and Pat Simmons was relieved of his duties, and I think he was suspended for a few years. But Pat Simmons returned to Williams, I think he did. Now, we know the story of Flavio Briatore. He is back in the paddock in Alpine, and let's see how that works, because I thought he had a race ban, but he's back in Formula 1. He's obviously had permission to come back, and I think he desperately wants Franco Colapinto as well, judging by social media, taking a lot of pictures with Franco as well. But Alpine, which was Renault, could be high tech later on, because they're going towards Mercedes powered unit cars in 2026 then. So Renault is officially leaving this sport after being in the sport for such a long time. They've won many championships in the past, including the Works team as well. But ever since the hybrid era, the Renault engine has been absolutely terrible, and unfortunately the engine is leaving the sport, as it's going to be Mercedes, Honda as well, Ferrari, and Ford. And who else as well? Mercedes,
Ferrari, Honda, Ford. I'm sure there's another one. I can't remember who it was. Oh, I can't remember. Or was that only 4? I think it might be only 4. Because I know Cadillac's coming in next year, but I think they're having the Ferrari engine. I can't remember who it is.
Honda is taking Aston Martin after Honda left in 2021. Audi. How can we forget about that? Audi is coming back to sport in 2026. So Hulkenberg and Bortoletto will have to suffer a year at the back of the field, but hopefully Audi turn it around. We'll see then. But here in 2024 in F1 League Racing, we're about to get underway once again. So Pitbull is the effective race leader. I think, he's still in a good spot. Here he is then, as he leads the Grand Prix, once again, headed towards the final 2 corners. Volokongan, Oscar, Harry Kane on brand new set of medium compound tyres, but there's still 11 laps to go. We know the medium compound tyres aren't particularly a great compound, as Pitbull's tyres are not too old, so maybe his hard compound tyres could be better towards the latter stages, but the medium compound tyres will be absolutely grippy at this stage. So Volokong and Oscar will have to overtake very quickly. Fantastic driving, by the way, from Volokong and Oscar to make their way through the field one at a time, picking their way through off people. And now here comes Volokong, and when he try to make the move immediately, as Pitbull throws the defensive ship on the inside, outbreaks himself, and Volokong says, "Thank you, mate, I'll come through." As Volokong takes the lead of the Grand Prix, goes a bit wide though, out of turn 7, almost collects the wall, or hits the wall, sorry, but keeps it on the track. And Oscar follows through suit very quickly as well. Oscar on his debut here for SFR, the man in Shizou, also Norwegian as well, putting pressure as the McLaren driver of Langfell has spun in the same place twice, unfortunately, as this race goes from bad to worse. But the situation is that Pitbull is under massive pressure because he's obviously gone for track position. He knows that there's no point pitting because he will rejoin towards the back end of the field and therefore have to pick his way through. So he might as well stay out there, hope for the best, hope that these tyres are still good towards the last station, hoping that the medium compound tyres will drop off as Oscar is right at the back of him. Here comes Oscar side by side in towards turn 16 we go, but Pitbull is a bit later, but Oscar's later, and Oscar goes up into P2 with a fantastic move down the inside, kept it nice and clean, hard but fair racing. And now Harry Kane, who's looking for his second podium of the season, is putting the pressure on. It could be a Norwegian 1-2-3, I'm not quite sure where Pitbull's from, but now we head down towards turn number 1. Harry Kane, he wants to overtake Pitbull, but Pitbull, oh no, has picked himself up a 3-second time penalty after a fantastic race. The second safety car has definitely put him under a massive disadvantage. Jensen as well picks himself up a 3-second time penalty, but Harry Kane will now have to overtake Pitbull wheel to wheel. Both have DRS as we head down towards turn 7. Kane goes up the inside in towards 7 as he puts himself into P3, but Pitbull, could he respond back on the outside in towards turn 8 now? Harry Kane has been forced to go defensive, but he stays in P3.
Yeah, nice overtake from Harry Kane. Obviously, Pitbull and Jensen now with the penalties as well. But Pitbull, I think, main reason why he's got that 3-second penalties, he's got so much pressure to deal with at the moment. He's got to try and lose try and lose not as many positions as he can. Obviously, he's going to be, all these drivers are going to go to the end now. So he's just got maybe a little bit of pressure on him at the moment because, like I said, he's just trying to lose least amount of positions as possible. Maybe just try and stay with the DRS with Harry Kane now. I think these medium compound tyres. Oh, Jensen come out nowhere. Oh dear, they're both out, unfortunately, and that's probably going to bring out a safety car. And yes, it is another one.
What on earth happened there? I'm not quite sure. So another safety car is out, and this is going to be massive. Nobody is going to pit because it'd be an unwise thing to do. Of course, there's no point pitting onto another set of tyres, unless of course maybe you want to go for the guys at the back. But what happened? Did you see that?
Like a break. I was on board with Pitbull, and all of a sudden I just saw a Mercedes coming up in the inside, and had a massive. I don't know. Maybe something up with his brake pedal, Jensen's brake pedal, because you don't normally see something like that from Jensen. So maybe something up with his brake pedal. Not 100% sure, but or just completely messed up his braking point. But he is carrying on, Jensen. Same with Pitbull as well. But Pitbull, he will be so frustrated with that. He's picked himself up a 10-second penalty as well. But Pitbull, after performing so well at the beginning of the race, putting the 2-second gap to the rest of the field, and now coming out the pit lane with a new front wing, 12 seconds off the guys right at the back. It's just gone from brilliant race to probably the worst, to a brilliant debut to probably the worst debut you could possibly have.
Yeah, he rose in qualifying but fell in the race. But if Pitbull continues to race with us in the next coming races, I really hope he doesn't take this personally and thinks, what dirty drivers, what on earth they're doing, I'm just going to leave. But I really hope he stays, because we know SFR is really good in terms of standards of racing. Yes, we have our slip-ups from time to time, but that is racing. But I really hope that Pitbull stays, because he's super quick. He's shown some intelligence in racing as well. He got swamped by the guys on new and medium compound tyres, but his racecraft, his race pace has been immaculate so far. Sensational drive for Pitbull, but he's definitely got something to take away with this. That we can definitely tell that he'll be fighting up there in the future if he does stay as well. But McLaren need those points, and I really hope he does stick around. So, safety car has came out. Volakongan and Oscar will catch up to the safety car. These two in first and second. Oscar finished in second place at the Brazilian Grand Prix in PSG. Fantastic drive as Volakongan is his teammate. So these two will definitely be communicating with each other in the party because they're teammates and close friends, and also they're both in the same esports team as well. So let's see how it goes down between Oscar and Volakongan. Volakongan's picked up a win already. Oscar hasn't. He's going for his first win of the season, and it should be an interesting battle. Now, Hurricane has caught up to these two as well. So let's see then. It's going to be a Norwegian battle for first place. Which of the Norwegians will finish in first place?
Yeah, so it's obviously now everyone will be backed behind the safety car. I'm surprised Nolders, to be fair, hasn't actually pitted to go into new medium compound tyre. Well, he might not actually have any new medium compound tyres. The amount of times he's been in the pit lane now. Let's actually have a look. I think it's about 3 stops now. Yeah, 3 stops for Nolders. So he obviously started on the medium compound tyres. Had his front, he then lost his front wing, of course, in that first lap. So then he pitted for hard compound tyres, and then he got that 10-second penalty coming into the pit with laser, so that he came straight back into the pits onto another set of medium compound tyres, and now he's back onto those hard compound tyres once again. He was only on for 1 lap, so that's probably the reason why Nolders hasn't come into the pits, because he hasn't got any more compounds left. It's probably the last compound he has of these hard compound tyres. But who is it? Pitbull has actually pitted to come into the soft compound tyres. So really, for the Pitbull now, he's got nothing to lose. So why not try and get to the end? I mean, they're going to fall off after about 4 or 5 laps. But to be honest, after the safety car comes in, that's probably how many laps we're going to have left. So it might actually come as a good choice, to be fair, for Pitbull. Obviously, like I said, he's got nothing to lose. So why not?
Yeah, just go for the fastest lap, take the bragging rights away, like Daniel Ricciardo did last season at the Singapore Grand Prix when it was his last race in Singapore, finishing in the last and having to do that 3-stop strategy. They probably pitted to take the fast lap point away from Lando Norris at the time, as he was leading and had the fastest lap, and Daniel Ricciardo was in no man's land and pitted. But Volakongan then playing devil's advocate with the safety car there. He almost hit the safety car going down towards turn 14, but very lucky to just try to escape. But so far, it's been a disastrous race for Mercedes. The people that are leading the constructors, they had a really good start to the season, did both Mercedes, Jensen and Rising Star. They're both close together in the championship. Really, really good start to the season when they finished 1-2 in Hungary, as once again Volakongan almost overtook the safety car there and risked himself in disqualification. Red Bull are second in the championship, and they are 8 points away from Mercedes there. So can Red Bull take a whole bunch of points with Hurricane to finish in P3, with Aston Martin in P3 in the championship with 159. They're currently 12 points away from Red Bull. Alpine are 4th place, but Alpine have been strong with Kaname and also racing as well. But Kaname would be very disappointed because the way this was going, it looked like it was Kaname's to win, but with no safety car completely changed the whole strategy and the trajectory of the race as well. Williams are P5 with 129 points, with Nolders scoring a majority of Williams' points because Williams haven't really had MDJ as well so far this season. He did check in as well, did MDJ, but it doesn't appear to be his tonight either. Ferrari are P6 with Fireblaze and Samid, as there's been loads of jokes made about Laser as well in the parties I won't mention. McLaren are P7 in the championship with Turbo and Langford as their drivers. Haas are P8. What a dismal season again for Haas. We've got Glock in the Haas as well, and also in the second Haas it is F1 Wilner. Visa Cash Out Racing Bulls are P9, but it's been a shame for RB because both RBs have got such strong drivers, but plenty of mistakes. I'm not talking about Volakonga, by the way, because he's a reserve driver, but the full-time Red Bull drivers of Robin and Nico Rosberg, they've got so much potential, but at the same time, they're just the innovation. They're just a bit too impatient at the same time. Just always impatient, just going through it, not thinking long term about what could happen later on in the Grand Prix, not playing the strategy right. Like Harry Kane, he's very methodical when it comes to playing strategy as well and being very calculated. Yeah,
I was about to say that. They have brilliant pace, at times probably quicker than the likes of Harry Kane. No offense, Harry Kane, but they don't have the mentality of Harry Kane. That's why Harry Kane's always up there, because he can obviously, again, no offense to Robin and Nico Rassenberg, but I think they are both young drivers. But Harry Kane can think of what he's going to do and all that, and obviously when he's going to make the moves done, and he thinks of, if I overtake whoever's in front of me, what will that be consequences of? That's what Harry Kane can think of. That's why he's won a double championship now, because he has the mentality like that. So that's the only thing. The only downgrade with Robin and Nico, they try and overtake as quickly as possible. That's what they want. That's what they want. Everyone wants this. Overtake everyone and just fly off into the sunset. That's, unfortunately, it's just not going to happen in Division 1, especially. So yeah, no, they just haven't got that mentality. But hopefully they can improve on that.
Indeed. So the third safety car is about to disappear in the pit lane. Volakongen, Oscar and Harry Kane are your top three. Three very handy drivers indeed. Which one of these three is going to win? This helps Harry Kane because he fought so hard with Turbo. He lost the DRS towards the top two. Can Harry Kane stay in DRS of Oscar and Volakongen and join this battle as well? But so far, Zhu have the advantage with their drivers in first and second place. These two teammates in a different league, of course, so they'll be working well together and communicating. Fireblades is still there, but look at Volakongen's release then, and look at Harry Kane just squirming away for traction as well. Glock is ahead of Nolders. What a disappointing race for Nolders down in P11. He's lost two places already before the final two corners as he's down into 11th. Here comes Jensen down the inside. Two McLarens go wheel to wheel as we head down towards turn 1. Jensen now takes P11 away from Nolders there. What a disappointing race as Glock picks himself up a second, a time penalty during this Grand Prix. And Rising Star.
Glock and Rising Star both picked up a 10-second penalty for overtaking Nolders when Nolders lost the back end of the car in the chicane, because obviously they overtook before the start-finish straight. You're not allowed to overtake, of course, after the start-finish straight, so that's why they got a 10-second penalty. And unfortunately, I don't think they'll be able to appeal that. Well, I don't know. They might be able to, because obviously Nolders lost the back end and they lost a lot of time if they let Nolders through again. But we'll see about that. We'll see what Energy Dan thinks of that.
Yeah, you're not supposed to overtake on the yellow line, I think, or the white line, sorry, the first safety car white line. I think in the past, Michael Schumacher got done for it back in Monaco, I think, when he overtook somebody on the white line as well as we head down towards turn 14. So I know how... I know why they overtook, because they didn't want to lose a lot of time to guys ahead. Just Nolders would have been outside the DRS range, and Pitbull now puts himself into P12. So I understand why Glock and Rising Star went through. They don't want to stay behind and just lose loads of time, especially after a safety car as well. So DRS will be enabled. The situation is that Volakongen leads ahead of Oscar. Harry Kane is in P3. Now both Mercedes of Jensen and Rising Star swap places as Jensen now puts himself into P10. He does have a 3-second time penalty as well in this Grand Prix then, so he'll have to carry the weight on his shoulders with a penalty there as Glock ahead of him has a 10-second time penalty. But Oscar is right behind Volakongen, and let's see how the Shizou boys play it out as Volakongen slides in towards turn 5. Will Oscar go for the move immediately, or will he stay behind Volakongen? Remember back in China when it was the Williams of Nolders who was playing DRS chicken games with Hazara. He stayed behind the whole time, knowing that he has a big chance of winning the Grand Prix and overtaking him later on the Grand Prix as well. It did work, but unfortunately for Nolders, he just went a bit too wide out the final corner. Couldn't pick up the throttle quickly, and that's why Hazara won. So could Oscar play the game of just sitting and waiting patiently and try and overtake Volakongen? Now, if you remember last season, it was Wingish versus Harry Kane for the win. And I do remember a certain scenario where I think Wingish tried to go for the last lap. Harry Kane anticipated it, so therefore he saved up 100% battery, and he took the victory ahead of Wingish as well. What a fantastic battle that was. It was Marco versus Keenan Albrecht for the podium, and that's when Kick Salva had really two... that one caught me off guard. That was a good one there.
I remember when I used to say Marco, and you always used to say Polo afterwards, so I thought I'd have a bit of payback.
Fair point there, but Kinane is right behind Fireblaze as well. It looks like these two are just attached to each other every single race because they always fight for the podium as well. It gets very intense between these two, but at least they keep it nice and clean. But Kinane then right to the back of Fireblaze, as Kinane will be looking to try and win the Grand Prix, but it's going to be very difficult, especially with guys ahead of him on the equal tyres as well, especially being a DRS trade. But he's got a lot of battery saved up in the Alpine. Can he use it down the straight as he's deploying a lot of it? Here comes Oscar of Volakongen for the lead of the Grand Prix, as Kinane just stays behind Fireblaze for the time being as well. Fireblaze, can he finally get his first podium of the season? Be very difficult though. Look at that, almost lost it out of turn 7 with the back of the car just stepping out as well. We can see the medium compound tyres are starting to reach the end of their peak performance. Oh, Hurricane has lost it. He's got full wing damage. He's made contact. Fireblaze is up into P3. Oh, Hurricane, it goes from bad to worse for Red Bull, and now he's been released. Fireblaze is up into P3, but he did not get the DRS on the back of Volakongen and Oscar, but Hurricane does, is able to protect himself. Hurricane has done a George Russell, but luckily not crashed in the wall. He broke his wing by turning in too early, and Fireblaze has been released now up into P3. So what a dismal end for Hurricane's race. Can he withstand this damage and try and still fight for the podium?
Yeah, that's just the story of Hurricane's season at the moment. As he really loses the back end, and he is going to carry on. There's no point betting now. He's just going to lose a lot more time. But that front wing is definitely on red, and yeah, everyone's going to now going to start going through. Straug and Kinane both have gone past him now, but that's just the story of Hurricane at the moment this season. Just mistakes like that has just been costing him this season. Obviously, I think he spun
Hungary
somewhere. Hungary, I think he actually won it as well or something. I'm sure he did. Yeah, that's it. He did a 360 spin, but still won the race, just like Max Verstappen did in 2023. But yeah, that's the story of his season. He's just making too many mistakes like that, and it's costing him. And it's costing him once again.
And the problem is for Fireblaze too, because of that mistake from Hurricane, slowing them down in the mid-speed corners, it's allowed Oscar and Volakongen to control this race and pull away. So the victory is either going to go towards Oscar or Volakongen. The two Norwegians scrapping out for first place. But once again, Fireblaze, for the third race this season, has Kinane behind him. The fight for the podium is on, both on equal tyres, of course, on the midi-compound tyres, but Kinane does have the DRS. Can Fireblaze somehow keep Kinane at bay? Try and keep him behind, but I want to shout out to one driver as well, the man in P5, OWR Draugen. What a fantastic race it's been so far for the man who has been struggling a lot this season. Look at this, Jensen down the inside of Racing, and now gets past him up into PA, but the switchback might work out for Racing as he may go back down the inside towards the final corner. Here comes Pitbull around the outside, goes off the track, may have to give the place back. Glock now puts himself into P10 ahead, but expects the penalties soon from Pitbull because he's not give the place back, unless of course he managed to do it at the right time. And now Jensen's on the outside towards turn 3 of Hurricane, who keeps dropping backwards. That's Laser, sorry. Hurricane's just in front of this battle. But Oscar is right behind Volakongen and goes through, puts himself back into first place. Look at Kinane now with the DRS. Oh, did I just see something there? It is raining on the circuit, guys. Welcome, rain.
Oh, exactly what happened last.
Oh, contact between Hurricane
and Jensen has got involved.
Is all getting heated now. Hurricane's in the thick of it because he's lost his end play, being surrounded by drivers on better grip levels, of course, as you can see that Glock sliding out of turn number 9. We go.
Oh my god, it's already got really bad. It's exactly what we saw in yesterday's race. They are losing it for quite a lot. So we could see a repeat of what Burmeister, Oliver, and even me did in the final lap, and actually come in to go onto the intermediate tyres. It gets that bad. You can tell already. It's getting really bad already. So. These guys already sliding the belt. I was not expecting rain at all during this Grand Prix.
Another spanner in the works there with rain hits the circuit. We've had safety cars for everything as well. But now rain has
Oscar
impacted.
And Volakongen.
Did they Oscar, they're sliding. The conditions are getting worse, but nobody's going to pit surely. I think it's too late to pit, but the conditions are getting worse. Oscar is off the track. It's all about survival on the final lap of the Grand Prix now. Here comes Volakongen. DRS is still enabled as we go down towards turn 1. Volakongen's taking the lead, but a bit of a snap there. Oscar back down the inside in towards turn 3. It's the last lap. They make contact. He's so close on to the wall in turn 3. It's a fight for traction. Here comes Volakongen as Oscar lifted off. waiting patiently for the DRS now, but look at him sliding to the corner. There is no grip whatsoever. DRS has been disabled. It's all about surviving now towards the end of this Grand Prix. This has been fantastic, and now there's something new being thrown into this race as well. What a fantastic race it's been so far. Kaname is sliding to the corner as well. Who can survive in these conditions? You can be very, very careful, but who can find the grip on these mini compound tyres? And let's see what happens. Anything could happen towards the end. Oscar is still right behind Volokongan as well, but look at him just drifting. It is just a repeat of yesterday when all these drivers drifted through the corners there, just trying to hold on to the car. As Kaname goes a bit wide, he outbreaks himself there, just trying to put the pressure on. Oscar Volokongan also goes deep in the corner too. Can Fireblaze somehow find a way back in the podium? They're all squirming away as we head down towards turn 13. Look at that. Fireblaze right to the back of Kaname then as they struggle for traction out of the corner. Oscar as well squirming to the corner. It's all about survival instinct here. Who can manage to keep the car on the track? That's the most important question. Oscar is... Oh, look at Kaname. He's in the wall. Kaname's in the wall. Can Fireblaze get a better exit? No, he can't. It's Dragon in the background also struggling. He was almost in the wall too, but Kaname just hangs on and survives into P3 right to start, gets a 10-second penalty. But look at these guys squirming away in the slow speed corners as they tiptoe out of the corner then. Volokongan for the second time this season. Oh, look at Oscar. Oh, he goes off the track as Volokongan makes his way towards the line. Volokongan wins the Singapore Grand Prix. What an ending. Oscar finishes in P2, Kaname in P3, Fireblaze P4 as Dragon scores his best result of the season. Fantastic. Pitbull back into P6. Laser goes up into P6 because the guys behind have penalties. But what a twist. What an ending towards this Grand Prix. Something unexpected. I wish it happened for another lap, to be honest with you.
If that happened for another lap, I would have loved it. Exactly what happened in yesterday's race. But to be honest, because we had 3 safety cars, this rain should have never, I'm guessing, should have never came. But obviously with those 3 safety cars, I think this race has been, it's definitely gone over an hour. I can tell by that. Yeah, there's definitely been the longest race of the season. 3 safety cars. It obviously 31 laps. It is probably the longest race of the whole season anyway. Obviously with the double chicane in sector 3 now they got rid of that. It's not as long, but I think it is still the longest race of the season, and it definitely is for us at the moment. I'm just waiting for Rising Star to finish his lap now. It's on the intermediate tyres, and conditions, as you can see, is a little bit better, obviously of course on those intermediate tyres, but yeah, what a race. Once again, a chaotic race. Obviously it was likely we were going to see the likes of Pitbull maybe taking the winning, but then obviously with that lap 1 safety car was really where it all set off with that, basically, with that first safety car.
Crazy. Rain was supposed to come after 60 minutes then, so the race definitely took over. Now it is a 50% race, of course. We don't go towards the 2-hour limit because it is a 50% race, but yeah, wow, Spanish phone in the works there with the rain. What a climatic race that was towards the end, as the guys were all fighting to keep the car on the track, just making sure they hit the braking points, as Kaname was very close to the wall. That could have ended his podium right there. Fireblaze would have picked up his first podium of the season, but luckily Kaname just kept out of the wall, just scraped his wing along the wall as well, just like I think Lando Norris almost did, but last year as well. But there are your classifications. I'm invited Volokongan and Oscar, so can you read the classification, please?
Yeah, so got Volokongan in first, obviously. 53 minutes is apparently how long it took us today. We've got Oscar in second, Kaname third, Fireblaze fourth, Dragon fifth, Laser sixth, Pitbull seventh, Norderson eighth, Jensen ninth, Racing in 10th, Langfeld 11th, Glock 12th, Rising Star 13th, Harry Kane 14th, and then own finishers, Bear Remy, Robin, Electro Dan, and Samad. But Harry Kane obviously left the session. That's not his true position. I think, where did he finish in the end? I can't remember. Harry Kane. Can't remember.
Definitely outside the top 10, that's for sure. Volokongan has 5, joined the party, so we can hear from Volokongan. Hopefully Oscar joins too, but while we wait for Oscar, we'll start with the man in P3. So Kaname, you were one of the few drivers that pitted on the first safety car. It looked like for a certain period That was the strategy to go, because you know the guys ahead will lose a lot of time in the pit lane, therefore have to make it back. But unfortunately, something ruined your race, which was a safety car. What was you thinking during the race? Did you know what the scenario was when you were in the fight for the lead of the Grand Prix?
Yeah, no, the safety car mixed things up on I think lap one or lap two. Yeah, I risked it. I know mediums are not that good in this track, so I was like, okay, maybe I just go all the way to the end on the hards, and it worked out pretty good. I mean, lap 15, I was on like lap 14, I think the safety car came out, the second one, and I was on like 25% wear, so I was like, yeah, I should have this win in the bag if there's no safety cars. But like, 2-3 laps later, safety car came out, and I was like P5. And yeah, I just pitted for mediums like everybody else did. And yeah, then at the end there, Harry hit the wall going into the second sector, and he got wing damage and completely cut the DRS to the top two. So they were gone. But yeah, it was just a 1v1 with Blaze, and I just overtook him with DRS, and then the DRS got disabled. So it was a slam dunk move. Yeah, last lap for me was a little bit too crazy. I almost hit the wall a few times, but I managed to bring it home. And P3, I'll definitely take P3 at the end of the day.
It's your third podium this season. P2s and P3s is what you tend to be getting, so you're still searching for your first win. But talk us through, because you overtook Laser at the right, Fireblaze at the right time. Bearing in mind though, this is you versus Fireblaze, third time in a row you're fighting for a podium. You two just can't seem to get away with each other. But yeah, you overtook him at the right time before the DRS closed as well. So you got yourself into P3. Then the DRS was disabled. Then it was all about survival. But you were catching the top two quite quickly as well, but at the same time you were making mistakes. You must have been so nervous down in towards turn 13 because you hit the wall and almost lost your wing.
Yeah, it was really, really nerve-wracking, but I somehow managed to slow down the car, and yeah, got P3 in the end. Yeah, the grip was just gone. There was just zero grip. It was like out of nowhere. But yeah, good race. Everything was clean. Yeah, Fireblaze, me and him are we winning lately a lot, so GG's to him.
You've won 3 times then, so 3-0 to you and 0 to Fireblaze. But what were you doing in the last lap? Were you trying to push, thinking there could be an opportunity to win, because you were catching rapidly for the top two as well? So were you trying to push, but also try and be very careful at the same time?
Exactly, yeah. I was trying to push. I saw them side by side going into the first corner. I was like, I could. It's possible maybe getting a P2 or maybe a win. But nah, they kept it better than me, and I somehow managed to. I did a little bit too many more mistakes than them, and yeah, about it. To be honest.
What a fantastic race from you to get your third podium this season as well, helping Alpine in the Constructors' Championship against Aston Martin and a Red Bull as well. How do you feel going to the next race, which is the Italian Grand Prix? Now, I don't know if it's Monza. Sorry, it is Monza.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be hectic, that's for sure. Because it's Monza, it's just how the track is. We'll see though. See what happens.
Congratulations for you, Akanem. I know you wanted to win because it looked like it was going your way, but the safety car swings and roundabouts as it does in racing. It can favour you one way, then disadvantage you in another way, and it disadvantages you, unfortunately, for your second one. So don't be too disheartened. It happens sometimes, especially in Singapore. But well done today on P3.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
Owen, you got any questions for Kane? You're on me, by the way.
I just literally, I thought I was on mute, but then I turned my mute, then I put mute on, and now I'm back off again. Anyway, G'nay, I haven't got any questions for you, mate, but yeah, it was a chaotic race, obviously. Well, nearly helped you, obviously, if you didn't have that safety car, the second and third safety car, that would definitely help you with getting those tyres to the end. I think those hard compound tyres definitely would have got to the end easily, from like I said in yesterday's race, we was able to see that. But yeah, no. Again, it should be pleased with that podium. It's still P3 at the end of the day after a chaotic race, so anything could have happened for you. He was able to keep it clean. But yeah, no, good podium for you, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
As we move on to the man in second place, it is the newcomer of Oscar, who started down in last, I presume, to do last to first challenge, but finished in second place. Now, Oscar, the way your race was going, the safety car came on the first lap, and I think throughout the whole race, because you won the hardcore power to start with, you were probably just hoping that a second safety car comes out, which will swing back in your favour, and it did as well, because it put you into fourth place at the time, or third place, when I think Turbo led the Grand Prix. So, talk us through your race, mate. How do you feel?
Yeah, the second safety car definitely helped out. I think with how old the tires would have been for the people who pit lap 1, it could have been close even without the safety car, but I mean, I'll take it. But yeah, can't be disappointed with P2 coming in on such short notice. Close to the win, but yeah, Vola deserved that one.
You did a fantastic job too. There was some intense battles between you and Volokongan because you went side by side to turn 3. Did the DRS be disabled before turn 5? Because I think you were 1 second behind him, but it just deactivated at the wrong time for you, so therefore you couldn't get him back down the straight in towards turn 7.
Yeah, it turned off right before we got to the DRS straight. But yeah, I just made too many mistakes in the final 2 laps when the rain came. So yeah, I kind of wanted to be P1 when I realized it was going to be wet. But then yeah, a massive mistake heading onto the final lap. So we were like, I think I ghosted and we were pretty much inside of each other. So yeah, just too many mistakes from me to deserve that one.
You did a great job overall though, because your pace was fantastic, making your way through one by one. What was your reaction when that safety car came out? Were you a lot happier now? Because it looked like on your strategy, going from hards to mediums, it wasn't going to work because you could have fallen all the way behind. But when the safety car came out, you must have been absolutely delighted.
Yeah, it definitely helped. But I think the pace advantage on the new mediums would have been pretty big, so it would have been an exciting race at least towards the end without safety car, but yeah.
Did you know the rain was on your way? What was your plan with Volokongan? Because you were in second place. Were you just going to stay behind until the last lap of the Grand Prix, trying to overtake him into the braking zone with the DRS, or did you know that rain was coming?
No, we knew the rain was coming. I wasn't sure if it was gonna come soon enough, but yeah, it started raining with 2 to go, I believe. So yeah, once the rain came, I wanted to be P1 on the final lap, but yeah, as I said, just too many mistakes towards the end there to be in that position, and yeah, it cost me the win probably with the DRS going off and everything, but yeah, Vola deserved the win today, so.
Congratulations, mate. You did a fantastic job from the back of the field into P2 as well. So, yeah, it's nice to see you race. Nice to talk to you for the first time as well in SFR. So, hopefully, we see more of you. And, yeah, for today, mate, nice to talk to you.
Thanks.
I mean, you got any questions for Oscar?
No, I haven't. But again, good race, mate. And I hope we see you again in where we are at next month. In Italy or something like that?
Monza, yeah.
Monza, yeah. So good luck for that, mate.
Yeah, thanks.
Moving on to the man in first place, it is a Volokongan. Volokongan, mate, fantastic drive from last all the way to the first. Your second time doing this after you did it in Belgium. It must have been a hectic race for you because, like I said to Oscar as well, that in the first stint it wasn't going to go your way because you would have to pit again. You lose all that time. You have to try and do a lot of catching up as well. But the second safety car came out. Harry Kane pitted a lap before, so you're able to jump him in the pit lane. What was your reaction when that second safety car came out to help you?
I was quite happy. It was good timing for us. So yeah, that was good. Not much more to say. Just pitted and came out in first or second, so that was good.
a man of few words. What was your thinking going into the race as well on the hardcore power tires? Were you just was you thinking about a safety car? Were you just trying to take them a long way and hoping that a safety car does eventually appear?
I didn't think too much about it really. I just started on hards because that's what we usually do on this game. And yeah, fit for mediums about halfway into the race, a little bit later maybe. And just yeah, drive as fast as possible to the finish line.
It was you and Oscar, first and second place, fighting out towards the end of the Grand Prix. How nervous were you fighting with Oscar? Because at one point, both of you were just fighting with the car, trying to keep on the road, whilst trying to go for the lead of the Grand Prix on the last lap in difficult conditions. Talk us through with the rain.
Yeah, it was very difficult. It was very slippery as well, because yeah, I don't know. I've never experienced anything like this before. It started raining and 10 seconds after you had zero grip, so yeah, just try to keep the car on the road, brake early enough, but not, yeah, brake early enough and not too late, and yeah, just keep the car on the road, and yeah, that's it.
Well,
it was difficult.
I bet it was. It looked very difficult watching you guys as well, and you almost lost the car multiple times, but still kept it on the road. It was all about survival towards the end, keeping the car on the track, which was very important indeed. But Valakongen, you're actually the leader in the championship of reserves as well. Hazara second place, your fellow Norwegian compatriot. But yeah, you've done, ever since you've raced here in SFR, doing last to first challenges. I think you've done it twice now in Belgium, and as well at the Singapore Grand Prix just now. Are you happy with this league? Because we're seeing that you're appearing quite a lot as well in this league, so you must be enjoying driving here.
Yeah, it's very fun driving here. A lot of good drivers, clean drivers, and yeah, I enjoy it quite a lot.
It's always a pleasure as well to see you coming through the ranks as well, up through the field, overtaking drivers. You do it very cleanly as well, just picking your moments at the right time. What goes through your head during racing? You know, start at the back of the field and like, all right, just what goes through your head? You just think about where to overtake, planning the strategy, etc. Do you think further ahead in the Grand Prix, like strategy wise, like Harry Kane does, or do you just like, if it overtakes there, I'll go for it and see what happens?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like that. I just take one at a time and see what happens, and just try to have some fun. And it is really fun driving this league, so yeah, I hope to continue with that.
Nice to hear, mate. Thank you very much. And also, if you are racing here in Monza, what do you expect?
Maybe some carnage into turn 1. And yeah, a lot of good racing probably.
And a lot of DRS trades for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Valakongen. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you for the first time this season. And Owen, you got any questions for Valakongen?
Again, I haven't, but I kind of wish that you kind of qualify a bit more, just to see your proper pace. Obviously, we already know what your pace is like. You normally do a last to first all the time now, which is nice to see. But like me and Jamie's been saying, I would love to see you and Hazara at some point together racing. I mean, both of you have already done the last to first now in this season, and. But yeah, no. Again, excellent race again from you. You didn't start fully last because I think Sam had got disqualified, so he started last. But so you can still technically take it as a last to first once again. So again, good win, mate. And if you are around for next week, good luck for Italy.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So that is it for the Singapore Grand Prix then, as the podium interviews are done. First, Valakongen, second, Oscar, Kanemi P3. And thank you so much, Owen, for commentating once again. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm so glad I didn't race today.
Yeah, what a chaotic race it would have been for you. But yeah, no, good to be around, and we'll see you again soon.
the commentator may make a one-off appearance in another race. I'm not quite sure yet, depending on what track I like. It was supposed to be today that I was supposed to be racing, make a guest appearance for once, but I saw the likes of Ola Congan and Oscar racing, so I thought it's best to stay back. But anyways, thank you so much for joining. It is the Monza Grand Prix for next week on Monday at 7:30. Join Charlie and Owen back for Div 3 and Div 4. Div 2 for me and Simo at 7:30 as well, and Division 1 for Tier 1 as well for Monza. See you all next week at the Monza Grand Prix, and also next weekend is the Australian Grand Prix. Can't wait for that. It's going to be fantastic indeed. We'll see what happens there. But for now, I have been Jamie Morris. He has been Owen Manso, and we'll see you all next week on Wednesday.